Hi, my name is Teresa Langston, and I'm an engagement specialist here at Inflectra. And today on this webinar, I'm going to give you a brief overview of SpiraPlan. You should be able to see my screen. I'm going to turn off my camera here, and we'll get started. So SpiraPlan is the top tier of a suite of products: Spira Test, Spira Team, and SpiraPlan. It covers test management, requirements traceability, defect tracking, risk management, as well as handling automated test execution. It has baseline management features, which allow you to have robust configuration management and version control of the artifacts in your products. It's a web-based application, and it's also fully mobile responsive. We offer both cloud-hosted or download options. So let's go now to the SpiraPlan system. Here we are on the landing page. Upon login, individual users go to this My Page view. If at any time they want to return, they can click this icon here in the top left. The My Page just includes all the items that are assigned to that end user. We have some customizable widgets here that they could arrange as they'd like as well. If we go to our Workspaces drop-down menu, you can see that Spira is organized in a series of products, which would just be a project or a system in your business. And those products can then roll up to a program. Several programs can roll up to a portfolio, and then you have your enterprise-wide business view as well. Each of these workspaces comes with its own homepage, which offers some widgets highlighting some key metrics. So if we take a look at the product homepage by clicking this icon here, we can see that we have three different flavors of that. So we have the general development and testing view. So if we take a look at the testing view, it's going to show you how am I testing doing, how am I measuring up against my requirements. So you can see some test requirements as well as some incident metrics here on the testing page. The development view is a bit more dev-centric, so you can see things like recent builds, source code commits, as well as some task progress for late starting, late finishing tasks, and your more traditional requirement burn down, burn up, and velocity graph as well. And then on the general view, here you're taking a look at the requirements completion for all the active releases in your product, any risks that you have, as well as release scheduling. Individual homepages can be filtered by their release as well. So if you want to look at a particular release or sprint that you're working on, you can filter all the information for that particular release. If we go up a level to the program view, you can see that we have similar views, an aggregate for all the products in that program, but then some individual data for the products in that program as well. Finally, if you go up to the portfolio and enterprise views, you can see that we have similar requirements, release schedules, and release risk management views here as well. Okay, let's head back to our product. And the way that we organize products in Spira is through different modules. So we have a planning module here, a testing module, and a tracking module. And we also have a robust customizable reporting module here as well. If we take a look first at our requirements view, you'll notice that we have our hierarchical list of requirements here. You are able to customize this list view by showing and hiding columns of both standard properties as well as any customized properties. And then you can have some filter ability here. So if you wanted to do filter on several different columns and then save that filter will appear in your quick filter here as well. I should mention that though we designed Spira to be easy to use right out of the box, the way that we organize, if I click here on my administration menus here, products, when they're created, they're associated with a template. And products can share that template. And the template is where all the customized workflows, types, as well as customized properties are stored. So once you get that template exactly how you'd like it, then you can share that among different products as well. For those in regulated industries, our workflows also allow electronic signatures. So that's a useful feature as well that's just built in. Okay, so returning back to our requirements view, we also have some different views. We have our document view here, primarily for those business analysts who are thinking of documents, requirements more in document form. So we have some key fields as well as the bulk of the description arranged here. And you can flip through it as you would an outline of a document. Then we also have our mind map view. So here Spira is dynamically mapping the requirements, the parent here to the left, down through their children requirements. The color is showcasing the priority of the different requirements. And you can include associations as well. So this light gray lines includes those lateral associations between requirements. Clicking on a link will take you to the requirement detail page. Many of the detail pages for artifacts are organized similarly, where you have an overview tab containing the bulk of those standard and customized fields. You have a rich text editor here. You can do some collaboration via comments or via the built-in instant messenger that SpiraPlan has. We also have different tabs to store information, like your test coverage for that requirement, any development tasks associated with the requirement, those associations that I mentioned earlier, attachments that would be documents that are stored in our document repository, and as well, Spira is keeping an audit trail, a full audit history for all the artifacts, where you can see exactly what was changed, the old and new value, who changed it, and when it was changed. If we now go into our planning board view, Spira also offers this planning board view here, and it has different views. So you can take a look at a product backlog and do some triage of unassigned items, changing priorities by just moving the cards. The story cards also have a view of test cases and tasks that are associated, or you can limit that and then the story cards will be smaller. You can also take a look at incidents through this planning board view as well. And then if you move to look at releases, then you can have your more traditional Kanban view by status, or your Scrum view by sprint. Just collapse those unassigned items. So there you have it. And you can support some resource management through the story cards as well. From here, we can move to our releases page. We support major, minor releases, sprints, as well as phases. So it just depends on your methodology. If we take a look at a specific release, you see that overview tab with the standard and custom fields, as well as additional tabs to associate information. Critical here is the baselining feature. So if we click on our baseline, you can enable baselines at the beginning of a release or a sprint, and then afterwards take a look at all the changes that are made to the different artifacts in the system during that baseline interval. As I mentioned, Spira comes with a document repository. We organize those documents in folders, but documents also have their workflow, which enables you to control who can check documents in and out, and as well as who can upload a new version for that document. You can easily see too, through the associations, what that new version, which artifacts that might affect. Okay, so let's move now from our planning module into our testing module. SpiraPlan supports both automated and manual testing, and we also have an exploratory mode for the manual testing. On the list page here, you can see that test cases are organized in folders. If we take a look at our functional tests here, you can see that we have the latest execution status for the different test cases, and using the release here, the release filter here, you can take a look at the execution status against different releases as well. So what your test plan is doing against the different releases. If we look at a specific detail page for test case, you can see that we're able to enter a description, and then we have a list of test steps, organizing in 3 different areas: a description, expected result, and then sample data. Spira enables you to link to common test cases. For instance, a login to an application would just be a call to that standard test case. We also support parameters so that you can pass different values through to test cases. You can associate your test case to a requirement by simply adding it, this requirement coverage. And then Spira has this suspect flag, which will be triggered by the system automatically if changes are made to an approved requirement that already has an approved test case. So the system is just saying, hey, a change is made to the requirement. Let's make sure that your test case is still testing appropriately. While you can assign a test case and execute it just on a standalone basis, Spira also offers test sets, which allow you to package multiple test cases together for execution. So let's take a look at that now. If we look in our functional test sets, they're also organized by folders, as you can see here. Test sets are also the way that you would schedule automated tests. So if it was a type automated, then we would associate it with an automation host. We would tell the system where we want that executed. And then we have the ability to do scheduling on a specific date, a recurring basis, or also scheduled on a successful build. If we scroll down below, you can see where you can simply add additional test cases to the set. And you have the ability to associate parameters or define them at the test set level as well, overriding the original parameters at the test case level. If we wanted to execute a test case here, I'm going to execute this ability to create new user. Here's the view that the tester will see in the system. We have several different options for organizing the information, but your test case and steps in the split view here is at the left, and then where you enter results is here to the right. And then you have the ability to go ahead and create an incident if you're failing a test case. So let's say our first couple of steps pass, but now we have an error. We can go quickly and associate a new bug, either associate it to an existing one or creating a new one. Like that. So now when we hit the fail button, we're going to see that incident being created along with the test run. So to see the results of the run, we'll go to our test runs list page here. There's that ability to create new user that we just executed. You can see that the incident value here includes a screenshot and then a link to that incident as well. In addition, in your testing module, we also offer configuration, which lets you pass through sets of data. So if I wanted to have a test run on a grouping of different browsers and operating systems, I can create custom lists for both of those and then triage or cull that list down to those combinations that make sense. And then by linking them with a test set to a single test case, Spira will duplicate that test case for all these different configurations of those parameter values. And that'll work with automated testing as well. So now let's take a look at our tracking module. Here in our instance view, we have both the list page as well as a detail page. And then you can have those same overview tabs. Here, once an incident has been created, we can assign that and begin work on it. In the description, you can see exactly highlighted which step the incident occurred and any additional information that the tester had provided during that test run. We also have a tasks view here. So tasks could be associated with requirements, but you can also associate a task, with a release as well. It doesn't have to be development tasks per se. And you have some different views to take a look at the task as well. You can look at it in story card view or in this Gantt chart here, so you can see exactly those tasks. And the darker shading indicates whether the tasks or releases have been completed. Finally, let's look at our risk module. Spira allows you to associate a probability and an impact, and you can control those values as well as the scores, and then Spira will automatically calculate an exposure to you, exposure for that particular risk. But not only that, it then lets you identify some mitigations and then set some tasks as well to carry out those mitigations so that you can lower your overall exposure for those high exposure risks. Finally, if we move to our reporting module here, you can see to the right, we have some dynamic graphing widgets where you can control the information that you're graphing. You have the ability to export that data as a CSV file, or you can just export the graph as a JPEG or picture. And then here to the left, we have some built-in reports. We accommodate different formats. It just depends on the format that you choose. Some data looks better in different formats. You can filter and establish different filters for different reports, name them, and then share them with different members of your team. That's a report that you do on a recurring basis. In addition to that, we offer some customization of reports and graphs here as well. So if you want to add different customized headers or footers, you can do that via the edit mode. But one other thing that I wanted to mention that is a differentiator is our concurrent pricing module. So SpiraPlan is priced with as many unlimited users as you'd like, named users, and you're only charged by the number of users in the system at one time. In addition to that, we do offer a 30-day free trial. So if that's something that you want to try out now that you've seen some of the features of SpiraPlan, you're welcome to start your free trial as well. Thanks so much for joining me today for this brief overview of SpiraPlan. As I said, I encourage you to take advantage of our 30-day free trial, and I appreciate you joining us. Thanks.